Hello, this is Steve, your YouTube English teacher. Another week, another class, and again I have outdone myself, like I do every week, if that's not hyperbole. But I'm really happy with this. I've been doing this with a couple of students this week who have had their B2 exams also this week, and I think it's really useful. We're going to look at the most common question types for part 3, the word transformation task. And again, the focus is on the fact that if you learn all these words, there is a very good chance that some of them will be on the exam. Not all of them, because we obviously can't predict every word on the exam, but there are some typical patterns and words that come up again and again on B2 and on C1, which you're going to learn by taking notes from this video and doing the exercises as I suggest. We're going to do B2 and C1. I've got different questions for each, sort of obviously slightly higher difficulty, slightly more obscure, slightly more complicated transformations, as in you often have to take 2 steps for C1. So anyway, let's get into this, starting with these B2 questions, starting with the difficult way of doing it for B2, which is I'm not telling you what type of question they are. You should be able to figure out from the sentence structure, the context of the sentence, what type of word you need, and then you know to transform the word in bold using the same root, obviously. So A, you need to use the word ease, and the answer would be, pause the video and try and do them. Now, if I tell you they are all adverbs, hopefully you've got all adverbs. If you haven't, pause the video again and change them so that all your words are adverbs, which in English are normally 99% of the time going to end in ly. Or I say 99% for the kind of adverbs we have on part 3. In general English, maybe not. Maybe there's different types of adverbs. But anyway, now you know they're adverbs. We're at B2. They're not going to give you, quickly. Well, maybe they would, but it's a little bit easy. So they're all a little bit irregular. So here come the answers so you can check them. Ease, easily. Ease is a noun. You do something with ease. It is easy, adjective, or you do it easily. And obviously easy with Y, easily with I. Legally, you need to double the L. Traditionally, with A-double-L-Y. And we also have words like automatically, magically, that follow that pattern as well with A-double-L-Y. And the last one, the most difficult one, how do we make adverbs? You start with the adjective, then you add ly. So the adjective from peace is peaceful, so the adverb must be peacefully. Thank you to Lauda, my B2 student, for actually making that question for me when we did it in class together. That was a really good one. So those are B2. Let's go on to C1. If you are studying C1, do these as well. They could easily be on a C1 exam as one of the give me, a bit of an easier question. So here we have, now they are adverbs. Pause the video, answer these. And here come the answers. Appear is apparently, it is the same root. B is a bit of a trick. People might say comfortable, sit comfortable. Sort of possible, but if we're being very strict, you sit. How do you sit? We need an adverb. Comfortably, obviously removing the E again and replacing it with a Y. Potentially with double L, and, this is a very common one, considerably. As in you can consider it, it is considerable, it is considerably bigger. So that's our first one for adverbs. That is the most common question type you have on part 3. There's always going to be 1 or 2 adverbs. So let's keep practicing. We're back to B2, pause the video, try and answer these. Think about the type of word you need, then do your transformation. You've paused the video, I'm going to explain what you're doing. Hopefully you've figured out the trick is that these are still adverbs, but they are all negative. From the context of the sentence, why would you be fired? A light dress in cold weather, cancelling due to the weather, and writing on WhatsApp. This is not formal on WhatsApp, is it, normally? So they're all negative adverbs. Different ways of making negative adverbs. Dishonestly, inappropriately, unpredictably, and informally. Obviously, different negative prefixes, and then including the adverb suffix. Let's do the same for C1. Now they are getting pretty difficult. These are, this is what you'd have to do on a C1 exam. Pause the video. Here come the answers. The negative adverbs. Undoubtedly. If it's definitely the right thing to do, then it's undoubtedly the right thing to do. If something is too complicated, it's unnecessarily complicated. If she's poorly organized, then I guess she's always late. She's invariably late. And if you ignore the safety protocols, that's probably irresponsible. So you acted irresponsibly with the double R again. So be careful with all these little irregular things that they're always going to include on part 3. Okay, that's enough adverbs for now. Let's move on to our third common point. Pause the video, try and answer them. What are we testing here? I'm going to tell you because you've done them. We are testing adjectives ending in able or able, as in you can do it. You can learn this part of the exam. It is learnable. You can learn it. It is learnable. Common trick for B2 part 3 and C1 part 3. She's very adaptable. It's an enjoyable film. The result was unimaginable. Be careful with your context there. And there are some predictable problems. Delays are common. It's predictable. You could probably say unpredictable, to be honest, for this one as well, from the context. I haven't really given you enough context. So if you said unpredictable, I think it's okay. Same for C1. Maybe I should have mixed these up, but you sort of know what's coming now. You know the type of word you need. You need able adjectives. It's going to be unbelievable if no one saw it coming. It's manageable with the E, because otherwise we'd have to say manageable, which is not what we say. Manageable, so we keep the E. C is a good one. There's high-tech encryption. This means no one knows where it's going, right, or where it's coming from. It's untraceable, so it's negative, and again we need the E to pronounce it correctly. And the last one, you should do it, it's advisable. That one seems easy, but there is a little trick, isn't there, which is that the noun for advise is advice with a C. So maybe just be careful with your advise verb, advice noun. Here we use the noun to make this adjective advisable. Okay, part 4. What are these? Pause the video, answer the questions. They are all people, right? Person nouns. Nouns to describe people's jobs or roles or situations and all these things. A is going to be lawyer or lawyers. These are the people who work with the law. B, very easy one, study, student, but just be careful with your spelling. Maybe in your language it's not quite like that. In English it is. Musician, a little bit irregular, isn't it? Magician, musician. And crime, criminals. There we go. Common one that I've seen many times on a B2 exam. We'll do the same for C1. Try and answer these. They're all people nouns. They're all a little bit irregular. Visitors is with an O, not an E. It just is. An engineer, which is, I mean, I guess it's easy because you just add ER, like teach, teacher, sing, singer. But then the pronunciation goes a bit crazy. Engineer. The boss, who is the boss talking to? Employees, because she's the boss, so she's talking to her employees. That's a nice irregular one. And the last one, the person who works in a library is a librarian. There we go. So that's part 4 for our common part 3. We're halfway there. Let's keep going because I'm sure you're learning lots of useful things. Back to B2, our 5th most common type of question. Pause the video, answer them. Hint, I have a dedicated video on this type of question because it is really common and difficult for a lot of students. They are all the measurement words that we've studied. So strong is going to be strength. That's the noun from the adjective strong. Hottest with a double T, irregular. So I'm taking the adjective and making a superlative adjective. Variety, if we're saying how different something is, vary, variety. That was another one that my student gave me. That's a great question. And how available will it be? This is an adjective. We need an adverb to describe how available. It will be widely available. So those are your B2 measurement words. Now there's going to be quite a jump in level to C1. If you get these, I'd be very impressed, unless you already watched my video, in which case these should be easy, because I have told you to learn these words already. Here come the answers for your C1 measurement words. What are the builders doing? We need a verb in the present continuous. They are heightening. All right, high, height, heighten, heightening. 3 steps to get to this answer. B is a bit easier. Depth is the noun from deep. It's irregular, but that's the answer. Weaknesses, make sure it's plural because we have several of them. And this one's a bit irregular as well. When there is not enough of something, when there is a lack of something, there is a shortage, a toilet paper shortage in the start of the pandemic. What days? We all remember those, don't we? So a bit different for these last three questions. As you can see, the word is succeed. Very common word for B2 Part 3. You need to transform the word succeed in 4 different ways. That could all be on your B2 exam. The context of the sentence will tell you the answer that you need. Here come the answers. Firstly, the noun we need is success, my success. The adjective is successful, full of success. The adverb is successfully, you successfully do something. And the negative adjective, I was, right, to be, is unsuccessful. There we go, 4 transformations of success. Now C1, common word is approve. Is this similar to succeed? I mean, it's a verb that has an irregular noun and different patterns. So pause the video, transform the word approve. A, this is a great question because obviously the context of the sentence tells you you need the negative verb, which is disapprove. B, you need the noun, approval. C, how are you smiling when someone signs the papers? If you're smiling, I think it's approvingly. And what is the tone of his voice? It is disapproving. There's a disapproving tone. That the ing adjectives, it is interesting, it is disapproving, it creates disapproval. So there we go. These ones are a bit simpler, so let's go faster. Like I said, B2, word, decide. Pause the video, do it for C1 as well, because some of these they get a bit more difficult. A, we need an adjective. It is decisive, meaning important, crucial. Obviously, B is decisions. Must be plural because it doesn't say a simple, so it must be plural. Another common trick for part 3 there. C, we need an adverb, don't we? Decisively, he acted decisively. And here you must act fast, so a moment of indecision can be fatal. From decide, we can go to decision, indecision. Nice question. Right, your penultimate C1 question. Oh, this one's so common. Courage. Transform the word courage in many different ways for C1 use of English part 3. For example, here come the answers. How would you pat someone on the back if you want to say, well done, you did a great job? How would you do it? Encouragingly, which is spelled like that. B, we need an adjective, don't we? It's courageous. C, I won't you from choosing that path if you want to, so I'm going to let you do it. And it's discourage. That is the negative form of encourage, discourage. And thanks to my teachers, we need the noun. It's encouragement. Oh, some good things for you to be learning there. These are all very possible C1 part 3 questions. Right, last one for B2. As you can see, the word is help, and the answers are A, helpful. B, if you ignore it, it's unhelpful. If you're alone and poor and sick, you're helpless, meaning, well, I don't know why we really say helpless. You are without help. I guess if you're alone, you're without help. No one's helping you. And how are they providing subtitles? Helpfully. We need the adverb, don't we? And the last one for C1, the word is real. Pause the video, answer these questions. Here come the answers. A is reality. A dose of reality is an expression. B, we're going to need an adverb. Realistically speaking, this target was because we only grew 15%. It was unrealistic. And like a dream, but it did happen with a, so it must start with a consonant. It is surreal. That one's a tough one, but it could be on a C1 exam. Okay, that's all I want to teach you. What I would recommend doing for homework, if you really want to learn these and master this use of English part 3, for each of these questions that I have done, for each, especially for the categories, so if we go back to like the categories of measurement words, add your own question, right? You've got your notes for these words, well, add A, B, C, D, E, and add your own word. Maybe something with long and length and lengthen and lengthened, or these kind of words. And the same for all of the other categories that you can be practicing a lot. That is how I would recommend to find words. Words like, well, ChatGPT is very good at this. List 20 irregular person nouns, such as visitors, engineer, employees. If that's your prompt, it will give you 20 and you can be learning them. And that's a fantastic way of studying and learning. So that's your homework after you've done all the work in this class. I hope it's useful. Come back next week for Use of English Part 4, where I've made something similarly useful and interesting. Thank you.